Well, thanks for taking time to talk about all kinds of things baseball related. First, when did you make your pro debut?
I made my pro debut was back in 2007 with the Hudson Valley Renegades and Tampa Bay Ray organization. Then I made my major league debut on April 6th, 2012.
And were you always a catcher?
I was growing up. I was always a catcher, but then I bounced around, played some outfield, first base, and caught a little bit coming up through the minor leagues.
And with catching, there's some inherent risk, shall we say, foul tips, backswings, collisions at home. Did you ever, while coming through the pro ranks, worry about concussions?
I think we started talking about concussions more and more in the last couple of years. You don't really think about it a whole lot. It wasn't something that was on your mind. Nobody really. It was kind of the thing that never got talked about. But you would always feel your bell, your bell getting rung, to use the phrase. But you would feel that, but you would never think twice about it. You'd be a little foggy maybe, or wow, that one really rung my bell. But you wouldn't really say, oh, maybe I have a concussion. And now I think with some of the things that have transpired over the last few years, now we are talking about concussions, and so now you are really more aware of when you get hit by a backswing or a foul ball. You're more aware of what you're feeling.
And have you officially been diagnosed with a concussion?
I have. I was officially diagnosed with my first concussion in July of 2012.
And in terms of the Cryohelmet, we came out with this really as a means to help address the symptoms following concussion, but also we're trying to get guys to think about using it proactively because every little hit adds up. Typically it's 2 little foul tips, maybe a day goes by, then you take another foul tip, and that sets you over your threshold. In terms of your experience with the concussion, what kind of symptoms did you have, and how did it feel?
Well, when I had mine, it was a play at the plate, and I got hit. Guy tagging up from third, so he was going full speed, and I wasn't. Kind of throw and him got there same time. Clean play, but broke my chin open and had stitches and a concussion. Mine was more of as soon as I started to get my heart rate up, things started to get foggy. I just didn't feel right. There's really no way I could describe it other than that. Something was a little bit off, little foggy. I didn't have the memory loss. I didn't have the sensitivity to light like some guys get. But for me, it was just I knew something was wrong. I knew I wasn't myself. I was just a little bit off, a little foggy.
Now, concussions in some ways are an invisible injury. You don't have a cast, you don't have an open wound. How were your teammates when you had the concussion? Did they understand? Were they supportive? Or was there just confusion about why are you off the roster?
I think there was a little bit of both. You had some guys that were like, man, I've had 2 or I've had 3. Those are nothing to mess around with. And I think that's the hard part is we don't really know how severe concussion can be because there is no way to really see it. There's no, oh, look, here's an x-ray, there you go. So we don't really know. It's kind of just go until your symptoms are gone. And so for some guys, their symptoms are worse at certain times of day, different things like that, and I think I'm very thankful for our athletic trainer at the time. He, recommended, he said no TV, no iPhone, no iPad, no reading especially is the worst thing you can do with a concussion. So it was a boring 10 days for me, but it took doing that for 10 days for me to pass the protocol to be able to get back to play.
Fantastic. And I wish we had a Cryohelmet back then for you. It maybe would help with those symptoms and just help you feel better. That's what people report. Their headaches go away, their nausea goes away. They fall asleep oftentimes wearing it as well. In terms of the Cryohelmet now, how do you use it?
I like to use it as a recovery after the game. Whether I get hit with a foul tip, whether I get a backswing, I think I'm more inclined to using it on those nights because there are nights where you just seem to be a magnet and the ball finds you. But rather than wait for something bad to happen, I use it as more of like I put the kids to bed when I get home, after the game, put the kids to bed, relaxing with my wife, and I wear the Cryohelmet for about 15 to 20 minutes. Not only do I feel like it's going to be proactive in treating concussions and kind of the snowball effect of foul tips, because really one foul tip isn't going to, unless it gets you just right, it's not going to do anything. But over and over and over and not paying attention to it, that's what's going to get you. And so for me, I like to use it every night after I catch, because it not only does it help injury prevention, but it also just calms me down at night. It helps me kind of close the chapter on the day, kind of clears my mind, and it just kind of helps me relax, and I kind of sink into the couch, and then it's time to go to bed.
That's fantastic. What does it feel like when you're wearing it, is it really cold? How long does it last? Like, I mean, what's the sensation?
Yeah, it's weird. The first few times you wear it, you not only do you look, you look kind of funny, but you have these weird sensations that you don't, it's your head is cold, and we're always taught, hey, if your head's cold, it's not a good thing, So once you kind of get used to the fact that it's cold everywhere on your head, and especially with the neck piece of the helmet, it's such a weird sensation at first. You might even find it uncomfortable, but once you kind of wear it the first few times, and it's kind of like when you take an ice bath. The first 10 to 15 seconds are miserable, and then after that it's okay. So it's a similar thing where it's very uncomfortable at first, but when you get past that uncomfortable period, you really feel it start to work, and you really do feel this calming sensation all the way down your body, not just in your head.
That's amazing, because we're hearing from other catchers who are using this, and other athletes on the sports like UFC reporting similar things, that when they wear it on their head and neck, it almost feels like it helps them recover their entire body. So thanks for sharing that.